我觉得8.4版本会就是中单改的比较多，我个人觉得中单比之前伤害各种跟那个上个版本比起来，伤害没有之前高，我个人觉得。所以现在来讲的话，8.4版本可能会出现各种中单的刺客英雄，比如说杰或者妖姬，或者是什么小绿人那种英雄，可以有机会拿出来用的。
Well, I personally do hope that that prophecy reigns true and comes in here with many assassin pick because that would be super fun to see. And we have a bunch of mid laners who are very good with those assassin trads. However, we do have to come in here with a break to our regular scheduled broadcast and come in with a forecast coming into the LPR because we do have some snow coming in, maybe even some cats because we have some meows coming out as well. And indeed, it will be raining fire. As Vici Gaming, no, it won't be good. However, it might be good for Vici Gaming since they are bringing in many subs into their roster. Snow, Meow, Fire Rain, and I know this guy because he's a Mordekaiser player. Talk to me about these players, Raz.
Yeah, so okay, a lot of these players coming in from the LSPL, and it makes a lot of sense for Vici Gaming to be able to say, okay, we're not finding success. We need to be able to challenge our current roster, especially with the trajectory of the current team. So, bringing in Fire Rain. Vici knows him very well because he was on Game Talent in the LSPL in the same split when Game Talents were challenging Vici Gaming and they had Fire Rain, very close to saying Fire Lolly, in the mid lane. So Fire Rain, of course, yes, the memes are there. We know him, of course, as the Mordekaiser main. 2 splits ago, I think about a year ago, where teams just consistently banned out Mordekaiser. Didn't want him coming in, not a clue, not a chance. But then he just diversified his pool quite a bit, so we got to see a lot more picks coming out of him. Rise is what he played in the LPL because this is going to be his second game playing for the roster. And so the biggest question, of course, is why the hell are Vici doing this? And so I guess it just comes down to the fact, but if you're not performing, especially up against the first place team in the East, it's time to experiment.
Yeah, I mean, that's the question I'm pretty much going to ask you, Raz, because you're looking at Vici Gaming here, and you're like, I don't think I would ever see the day where they're not going to have Easy Hoon in the mid lane. And in fact, it will be Fire Rain coming in today, which is obviously a big change for not only the team, but in terms of the way that the team works, the whole dynamic is going to change, because Easy Hoon is the type of player who you will pretty much play to Easy Hoon's beat, but now we're going to be playing to something entirely different.
Yes, and this is when we start looking towards each individual and start kind of critiquing them if they can play up to snuff, because we've seen that kind of style before. We had a discussion about Hacker taking the place of a Voidless, so him playing well on the bench mean that, of course, his team decided that he was the new front runner for the team. So for this team, I actually think that Snow is going to be an interesting one. Of course, formerly played on Mighty Eagle on the LSBL, we get to see if he can challenge Martin, because Martin a lot of times is a pressure point, in fact, constantly being put behind. If Snow can come on, if Snow can perform constantly, consistently, then suddenly we might see a new AD carry maining on the team.
But it also does change the way that the team will play in regards to Invictus Gaming, because it just raised questions like, are they going to be able to also catch some of the throws if Invictus Gaming continue to play in the way that they did in Game 1, in the same way they did in Game 1, because Swift was very good at doing that, but he also knows how to play with this original roster of Vici.
Yes, and so, of course, we were talking about the individual skill of the players and if they can play up to snuff, but of course the problems of last game was the fact that the communication wasn't there, so if Swift was running in, he didn't have the people who were immediately behind him. There would be times where Easy Hoon wasn't right behind him, so Swift would die, and you'd be like, well, that's kind of sad. You didn't get that backing, so perhaps this is going to be the communication buff that you can get, but that's all if they perform. There's no expectations that they can, so perhaps for them, that's enough kind of confidence that they can come in and show something good.
There's tons of ifs, but there is enough confidence to run them in the second game against Invictus Gaming. Let's see how they do on the Rift as we send it over to the casters.
Thanks, guys. As Pulse was trying to say on the desk there for Oscar, apparently it's raining everything for Vici at the moment.
Yeah, I don't even know what EV evolution that I've got coming together for Vici's roster right now. No, I do. So Meow, Fire Raining, and Snow. Fire Raining, known as the Mordekaiser player. Hilariously, I was actually talking to Raz walking to the venue today, and he was telling me that Fire Raining was actually on the team that were giving Vici a hard time, and it came to the finals of the LSPL or going up into the playoffs, and Fire Raining pretty much threw the game for his team and allowed Vici to take the spot to promote into the LPL, and he's now rewarded by joining Vici.
Not suspicious at all.
Check his account.
Pretty sure that's not why he's on Vici right now. But he is going to be playing in the mid lane. And that's not Easy Hoon, of all people. This is the person we've been hyping up as the career Korean for Vici. Played with them when he first joined the LPL. Played with them when they were promoting back through the LSPL. Has been substituted out in what could be the most difficult match for Vici during cross-conference.
Yeah, mad respect for Easy Hoon. I definitely feel for his tale, the hardships that he's had to face to crawl back into the LPL, but real talk, I think Easy Hoon's the problem for Vici. I think Easy Hoon is an incredibly talented player, but this is not the roster for him. He needs to be where they already have a superstar on the roster, and that's just not here. Swift is way too inconsistent to fill that role, too new to the team, and so even though I don't know the dynamics of how this roster is going to fit together or where the skill ceiling is, I'm already excited to see how Vici are going to do with someone like Fire Rain, Snow, and Meow.
Well, let's see how this new roster is able to fare up against IG, because Vici had a decent early game in the last match, but not able to close it out. For now, though, the Shy is locked in. Sejuani is the first pick for IG. Their bans were Sion, as well as Azir and Galio. Beside of Vici taking away Zaya, Talia, and Tahm Kench, they lock in both Caitlyn as well as Olaf.
We already saw an incredible performance from Swift on game 1 for that Olaf, so no surprise that he's going to take it again. It has been the hot fire on 8.4 and before, whereas Ning actually gets a more traditional, one of his favorites in the Sejuani. Super happy to see that. Did not want to see another Gragas game despite the victory.
Thank goodness for that. Sejuani seems to be the staple pick in the jungle, sorry.
The nice thing about Sejuani is I feel like she's a perfect bridge where she still has skirmishing and dueling potential due to how her proc on the flail is going to be, and then scales really well into the 5v5 portion of the game because you have non-committal hard CC, and then she creates such a great tank line. So while you give up some of the faster clear speeds and some of that extreme dueling potential, she's kind of a great jack-of-all-trades, middle ground juggler.
Synergizes very well with the passive of Braum, which is the support of choice for Invictus Gaming heading into game number 2. But the Shy, he's going to be able to pick up Jace heading into the top lane.
And we do say that as the Shy because he's been the guy that's been mainly playing it for Invictus Gaming. They've seen a couple of bans on it for him, obviously not feeling too confident after that last Nara performance, 1 and 6 to end the game, but it could also technically be a flex between him and Rookie. Invictus Gaming do like to utilize flex picks so they can get superior matchups in their solo lanes.
Vici seems to favor doing the same, as Vladimir is locked in for Vici. Should be Meow's champion in the top lane, but can be moved into the mid lane if they choose to do so. They seem to think that it's going to be a Jace heading into the top lane though, because that's a Cassiopeia pan coming out from Vici.
And it's curious then if they're just going to prioritize grabbing the Ryze directly out of this draft phase, since they banned the counter matchup in Cassiopeia, or if they're also just going to ban the Ryze and continue to pinch the mid lane pool, try to force Rookie onto something less impactful in their eyes.
Meanwhile, Invictus Gaming banning out Shen as their first ban. That could be a top lane or support pick for Vici. Fiora is the final ban that comes out for Vici, so they seem to think that this could be a flex pick at the moment.
They're really unsure, like, just ban it all, just any of the champions I don't want to face.
And take one away from the Shy, take one away from Rookie.
It does mean, though, that there is a much higher priority on grabbing the Ryze if Vici choose to go for it. We already saw Easy Hoon in game 1. He was doing some ridiculous damage. Rookie is also completely devastating on that champion. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. I think Ryze is the best mid laner on 8.4. And they're not going to do it.
The final ban from IG was Taric in the bottom lane. So Vici might look to try and secure a support here or continue with flex picks. So they already have Vladimir flexing from top lane to mid lane. They're going to pick up Trundle as well. We've seen him recently in the current meta, top side of the map. Can be played as a support.
Yeah, but most likely it will be on the top side. That would mean that Fire Rain would be taking the Vladimir into the mid lane. Does also offer, I'm not going to call it a hyper-scaling option, but at least some sort of late game versatility in their play style of playing a 1-4.
IG do default back to picking up a scaling AD carry of Tristana. Now,
it's Uzi's favorite right now in current 8.4.
As much as Orianna's been pushed back in the current meta, it is going to be locked in the mid lane for Rookie.
So maybe, oh, he already sees the soul matchup. I was going to say, maybe expecting the Ryze. I'm so tunneled in on this Ryze right now. But just a staple for Rookie there. If he had the option to choose between Ryze and Orianna, he's much better known for his Orianna performance.
Oh, hang on.
We've got like 20 flex picks.
Yeah, so that's going to be a Trundle support. Most likely Olaf in the jungle, Camille top lane, and Vladimir in the mid lane. That could still swap around. But that's a lot of flex picks being utilized by Vici there.
And not a whole lot of reason why, because in the end, I mean, they kind of revealed their hand, I guess, when you're waiting for the swap all to come through. But Invictus Gaming, like, their composition doesn't necessarily care about the individual 1v1 and 2v2 matchups because they have such a strong 5v5 or ability to play a side lane and then have the other 4 fight safely.
Well, with the ban of both Cassiopeia and Fiora, almost feels like Vici were trying to see where that Jace was going first before picking up their top laner. Could have been a last-minute flex pick, but very interesting draft coming out from both Vici as well as Invictus Gaming. A couple of picks that we don't see from time to time, especially this Trundle heading in as a support for Vici.
I will say that there is a ton of access into the backline for Vici's composition. You have Camille, Olaf, and Vladimir. So we saw them throw both the Maokai and the Olaf last game, as well as the Rise into the backline at Jackie Love. Couldn't lock him down. Maybe it works better this time around, but it's pretty clear what Vici's game plan has been coming into these team fights across from Invictus Gaming. Kill Jackie Love.
And if you kill Jackie Love, takes away a lot of damage from the team this time round, though. They've got the Shy picking up a carry-based champion. He has not been performing as well as his first few matches in IG, still a staple top laner for the team, but now he gets his chance to once again play one of those carries.
Now, one of his signature champions, it has been one of Invictus Gaming's fastest games when he picks up the Jace, completely changes up their style, and again, this is the power of Invictus Gaming. This is why they are 10-1. It's because they pick when and where they're going to beat you on the map. Are we going top lane? Are we going mid lane? Or are we going bot lane?
This time definitely looking towards top side of the map. Bottom lane's going to be scaling out for Jackie Love. He was caught out of position a couple of times, but he did a ton of damage and picked up MVP in that last match. He's going to try and see if he can do a repeat performance against Vici heading into game number 2. Vici shocked everyone with their early game leads. Let's see if they could do it again as we head on to Summoner's Rift. They went home. Did the fans leave? Oh no,
Nope.
He's here. Look, you said there were 2 of them, Roscoe, and I think one of them left.
And then there was one.
It's like easy who can get subbed off. Nope, done, going home. I'll see you tomorrow.
We need to move the microphone. Get that IG guy away from the microphone. Put it over with the Vici crew.
He forgot that he was meant to go first this time as well. Took his time. Snoozing a little bit. We finally get onto the Rift. IG taking on Vici. This is a top of the table against bottom of the table matchup. But surprisingly, in the last match, Vici were able to take it to them in the early game at least.
A lot of that was on the back of Swift, so still starting in this game, but pretty much a completely different roster. It is just Swift and Caveman remaining from game number 1. Fire, Rain, Snow have 1 game respectively. Meow, a couple more. The fact that I have to call the player Meow. Have you seen Super Troopers?
No, I have not seen. No, I have not seen Super Troopers yet.
Okay, I don't know why I tried to ask you a pop culture question. That was probably my mistake. There's a game that they like to play where they insert Meow without people noticing. Okay, that's your goal.
Oh no!
But I can't notice.
Look, you see, the problem is it's going to be quite difficult because there is a person named Meow on this team.
That's the point of the. Okay.
This is a disaster. But no, I remember you telling me that I need to go watch that movie, and I have it ready to be watched, but I have not watched it yet.
Let me take a look at the runes for Battleland here. Kind of going the way of the Tom Kench. They're not usually taking the resolve that we like to see on the Braums in the LPL.
Yep, going towards Glacial Augment instead.
More of that utility.
Let's see if he can get his passive down nice and early, but Snow is able to lock down Jackie Love, forcing him to flash away from the trap as well.
Really well placed pillar. So putting the pillar on the other side of the wall, and then just that barely any space in between pillar and wall. He puts the trap down there. Jackie Love is only level 1, so doesn't have rocket jump available, and is forced to burn the flash. So excellent teamwork and synergy from Snow and Caveman right out the gate.
Yep, playing well to start things. In the mid lane though, Rookie's picked up his signature champion of Orianna. Does well into Vladimir.
He is the Battle Ball Orianna player. He uses it as a bludgeoning device. He plays right behind it, and he just is rushing forward and moving that ball in front of him. And that is how Rookie likes to play Ori. This isn't a sit back and farm and be passive Orianna.
And we'll have to keep track of that mid lane matchup, because the last time those 2 champions were meta in the mid lane, it was always Vladimir being pushed underneath his turret. Now though, with the new season, you have Minion Dematerializer, which we've seen Fire Rain pick up. That's allowed him to push back against this Orianna quite effectively.
And also, Rookie is one of the probably the best players in the LPL at controlling and manipulating his wave. Even when he does have the advantage to have push priority, he's pretty well aware, or has the self-awareness to hold back, try to position the wave correctly, deny CS, or keep himself safe from enemy junglers. So The more time that we get to spend actually looking at how Rookie sets up his lane, the better.
You get a chance to take a look at every single matchup. Even top side of the map, you can see the Shy is the ones being able to push back the top laner nice and early. Swift's trying to look to see if he can come in for a gank. Meow is forced back to base, however, is going to teleport back in. It could be a successful gank if the Shy is not careful here. No mana available for him. Gets slowed down by Meow. Comet comes out for a bit more damage. So just going to try and chase him down as well. Puts water in the bush. The Shy tries to go back in, but he's just a sitting duck. Meow picks up first blood in the top lane.
Yeah, recognizes that he was not going to get out of that one. Doesn't even expend the summoner spells. And unfortunately for him, Meow also picks up the first blood, so retaining that first blood gold, taking it back into the 1v1 matchup.
Meanwhile, Sejuani looking to try and jump over this wall. Snow has been tagged by Winter's Bite. Ning's not going to try and go for the gank just yet. Vici trying to turn around and get some damage of their own.
Or not. Nope.
Now he jumps back through. Flash forward coming up from Balon. Caveman's going to try and flash away. Snow getting locked down. Flashes nice and early. Ignite is ticking. One more proc would have locked him down underneath the turret. But just blowing some of these summoner spells away from Vici's bottom lane.
Yeah, all of the flashes now down in the bottom lane. That said, Snow and Caveman still have their defensive summoners and heal and exhaust available to them. And Swift looking for the counter gank. Sejuani is back in base. This is 2v3 if they pull the trigger.
Swift knows that he has not been spotted out just yet, but that is a big minion wave for him to try and go aggressive against the Shy. Even though he was taken down for first blood, he's able to get good damage against Meow. Meow has to be careful.
It's still suffering. This is the expected Jace matchup in pretty much what it feels like a majority.
Jumps in. Is it enough damage? Meow is able to escape.
Barely gets out on the skin of his chinny chin chin.
So even though we saw Swift move towards top side of the map, the Shy is still comfortable in applying pressure. He's going to be able to knock another minion wave into Camille's turret.
I mean, really the only way to deal with the Shy whenever he picks up the Jace is you have to give a lot of priority to the top lane. You need to camp him. He's always going to be pressed forward in that lane. He doesn't have the vision to protect himself because Ning, frankly, hasn't been paying attention to top side. You see that Rookie has finally placed a shallow control ward in Pixel Brush on the top side of River. So there is a big window for Swift.
And the onus is really on Swift because there's nothing much that Camille can do right now. So we'll have to see and keep track of that lane later on. In the mid lane, however, Vladimir still going toe-to-toe against Rookie. Pushed in underneath his turret, losing a little bit of CS there. But both these two laners are going to look to try and control that mid lane, scale up towards the late game.
And what it seems that Rookie's doing is he's actually creating a highway up and towards the top side, or at least trying to grab information about where Swift is. He's now placed 2 vision, so he is the entire vision line for Invictus Gaming at this point.
And he's going to look to try and take away some of the vision that was placed down by Caveman. Rotating in towards the jungle there. Picking up the zombie ward, which we've seen was becoming a little bit more popular in the LPL.
So much more valuable now that Tracker's Knife is gone.
And it was something that the LCK picked up very early into 8.4. LPL didn't value it too highly until really Tracker Knife's been taken away.
Surprise, surprise. I think the zombie ward is incredibly potent and powerful. The amount of time that the wards actually last on the map, as well as just providing that extra vision. But here we go.
Big top lane duel. The Shy this time takes
good win by Meow.
A good trade there going in favor of Camille.
Yeah, needs to be more careful. He's getting to the point where he might get low enough that Camille fancies an all-in engagement. The Shy still has his flash to play with, but it's going to be probably a bit more conscious now of laying down the poke before he gets that close again.
Still has some time to slowly chip Meow out. He's angry at that Scuttlecrab. That was his fruit. Ning's actually looking to try and see if he can make his way towards the top side of the map. Swift is up and close by as well.
Yeah, and pings did go down, but it's recognizing that the honey fruit has been taken. So I don't think they know for sure that Ning is here.
Well, Swift's going to try and charge on in. Immediately sees 2 and says, nope.
He's like, yeah, we thought this was 1. This is 2, I'm out.
180. Decides to back out immediately.
It's that moment when Olaf steps out of the bush, throws an axe, misses, and just walks away. Great gank. Thanks for the pressure.
Straight back towards this game. It's going to continue farming. Ning's actually trying to shadow Swift at the moment. Swift's going to spot out a couple of control wards. We clear those out. Caveman in the bottom lane is going to get locked down. Jackulov actually jumping straight on top of him. Exhaust gets used nice and early. Snow yet to take any damage. Caveman is the one that's in trouble. Traps get placed down, but nobody falls there. Just a trade in health.
Yeah, Jackulov zips in, zips out. Can't decide if he wants to use the ultimate to knock Trundle further back in. I think he was maybe struggling with the angle there.
Aggressive plays in the bottom lane, but no one's going to fall. Ning's still waiting for a gank on the top side of the map. And this poor cat throws out the ultimate nice and early, locks him down. The Shy goes into melee form as well. Ultimate being used by Meow, gets knocked back through the hook shot. He's going to fall. Ning picks up the kill.
really nicely played and even more punishing because Meow doesn't have the TP. He's got a big wave that's about to hit on his tower. So not only dropping the kill, but then losing all of that added experience. And he's getting choked out of this lane. 71 to 48 CS. The experience difference alone is going to be a pretty big gap opening between the Shy and Meow.
And you can already see exactly what you were talking about earlier. IG can flip up their playstyle, and this time they're moving towards the Shy in the top lane.
And unfortunately, it's keeping track over Swift's jungle timings. Knowing that he would be on the bottom side because he's going to be clearing out those camps, there's nothing available on top side of the jungle, and recognizing that window, and here we go, another fight. Hello.
Swift just got tagged. He wanted to steal away a couple of those Raptors. Is a level above Ning at the moment.
He's been spending a bit more time farming.
But it really feels like the rest of the map for IG has just been locked down into controlling their lane. Orianna trying to push in Vladimir. Bottom lane, Tristana Braum trying to push in against this Caitlyn Trundle, making sure they can't go everywhere.
But
while they continue to pressure top lane.
Yeah, and there's a lot of CS discrepancies that are opening up, especially between the solo laners of Invictus Gaming. And Ning is really just bouncing back and forth. 2 control wards have created this perfect highway for him to just patrol up and down. And he's just going to continuously punish these lack of summoner spells. And unfortunately, Meow, he's got a giant target. This is a camp. Ning's like, it's not worth it.
Tent has been
The
set up.
Gromp's worth more.
Moves back and we'll be able to pick up that jungle camp for himself. Swift's doing the right thing, moving towards the top side of the map, making sure he can protect Meow, but wards are going to spot him out.
Yeah, there's nothing left for the bottom of his jungle other than the Krug camp, so it makes sense that Olaf should be on this top side, either looking for a gank while he waits for his camps to respawn, or farming topside for some extra piggy bank gold. Uh-oh.
He's going to be careful. Ning is waiting right over the corner there, trying to lock him down. Does get stunned, throws out the ultimate to chain CC. Shy jumps in. Meow forces a flash wave. But Rookie's here as well. Top side of map for IG. Everyone's come to party.
Yeah, Rookie trying to get involved. Doesn't burn any of his summoner spells like Martin did in game 1 to try to steal that kill. Excuse me, secure the kill.
Didn't even get an assist in that matchup. Neither did Rookie here, but...
Yeah, and credit to Ning, holding on to his ultimate, waiting for the max range of the hook shot, and then knowing that he would have that range to continue to chase down, as we see Rookie flexing a bit on the matchup. Perfect back step to avoid the E, then step forwards again to tag with the QW.
He's about 20 CS ahead of Fire Rain at the moment. No more minion dematerializer for Vladimir.
Now, how do you feel about that? When you just get subbed out, it's your second game in the LPL, it's like, Rookie, good luck, brah.
Yeah, not a nice feeling. Fire Rain can already feel the pain. Not only is he subbed in to go up against Rookie, he's been counterpicked in the mid lane as well.
Didn't even get his signature champion of Mordekaiser. I was just telling Raz, I was like, I don't think Mordekaiser's too bad with the new itemization on 8.4. I'd love to see him with, you know, something like Leandri's.
Too bad we get Urgot and Ilaoi instead in the LPL. And a Draven. His Fire Rain's just taking a beating. Shockwave!
Ooh. One day, Max Atlas Anderson's dreams will come true, and Mordekaiser will be played again.
One day. For now in this match, Rookie's still pushing it against Fire Rain. He was forced back to base. That turret's taken a bit of chip damage as well. But IG playing this one nice and slow. Vici are happy to play this slow as well. But the lanings have definitely been going in favor of IG.
But they're playing it slow around Tristana and Orianna, which makes sense due to where their item breakpoints are. But it's been pretty ramped up in the top lane. Still about a 30 CS difference between these two.
Bottom lane,
walk
K-Bed's
away
in some
from that.
trouble. Forced
Oh,
to use
no.
the ultimate and then tries to flash away. Buster shot comes up. JackieLove gets the reset. One more auto attack's going to be enough. He still has one more rocket jump. Does he have the mana? Yes, he does. Snow trying to now flash away. Nani Calvernet gets him back to safety. JackieLove in some trouble goes Swift just charging in. Hosta Ragnarok throws down the lightning as well. JackieLove's not long for this world. Vici pick up a return kill.
Just runs him down, and now here comes Ning.
Just charges in. Gets an easy kill on top of Snow. Still making sure that IG come out ahead.
Don't know what what Snow thought was going to happen there. Steps back for the creeps, gets immediately punished, but either way it's a 1-for-1 trade, but still advantage to Invictus Gaming. They're spreading their gold around.
Meow's going to try and lock down the Shy in the top lane. Has already taken quite a bit of damage, waits for the ultimate to expire. Now once again sitting helplessly underneath his turret.
He doesn't have flash. It's going to be impossible if he wants to try to flash dodge the damage from Chase. I think he's playing with fire personally, and I think the Shy just needs some information before he decides to go for this one.
Making sure he makes every single minion count here, denying as much as he can away from Meow.
There you go. He's going to miss another wave, however. Take another look at that one. JackieLove is pretty much playing Super Mario Brothers. Flashes over the trap. That was actually very cool because he thought he might have landed on it on the other side of that jump. in, goes for the double jump, misses that one because Snow's going to do his own flash, and they are fighting in a massive creep wave, and I'm pretty sure the creeps did more damage than the Trundle and the Caitlyn in this exchange.
Poor JackeyLove is just caught behind an Olaf. Snow thinks he can fight the end of that. He can't. It ends with Ning picking up a kill, another kill for IG. However, top side of the map, the Shy's been able to break the outer turret in the top lane, giving Invictus Gaming a 3,000 gold lead.
And that's why he didn't want to go for the all-in engagement, burning his flash, trying to put kill pressure on Meow, because he knew that he'd already won the lane as long as he chips out Camille's health and send her back. But here he comes!
Yeah, big flank coming out from IG. JackeyLove going aggressively forward, but the Shy's already here. JackeyLove picks up that first kill. Resets come out from Tristana, jumps over the wall, locks down Caveman. He's going to try his hardest to escape from this, but it's just not going to be enough. Another kill picked up by IG.
And unfortunately, there's not a lot of response from Vici. If you commit your teleport to the bottom side, you would say, okay, top side, you start pinging the enemy tower. You're like, you've got it. And then you look at Camille's positioning, and she's like 3 football fields away from ever hitting that structure. So great, huge window for Jace to punish it, and now he just gets to casually, walk up through mid lane. If he wants to take the wave, maybe he does. Continue to stroll it back towards the top lane and arrive just in time for a massive wave.
Yeah, but Swift is waiting and
Trap?
hiding.
Nope.
They might slowly collapse upon him.
Trap? No.
Meow's getting closer as well. He's now going to see Camille, tries to jump in, knocks it back towards Ning. Ning's looking for that kill himself. Meow trying to fight his way out of this one as Swift continues to chase down Shy. Shy gets over the wall, back to safety. Rook uses the shockwave, takes down Meow. Vladimir's now going to try and jump into the teamfight. Blast Cone brings the Shy back over, but he immediately dunks back in. Rain now last man standing for Vici in this skirmish. One more auto attack's going to be able to lock him down. Ning charges forward. Sanguine Paul trying to keep himself alive, still goes and gets frozen, allowing Ning to pick up another kill.
And now the Shy is 3-1-4. Ning participating in 6 kills out of 9. The top side of Invictus Gaming's map is completely out of control for Vici. I said trap for Vici. It ended up trap for Invictus Gaming.
It was. It was all a ruse. With that, IG able to pick up an even bigger gold lead for themselves. 5,000 gold ahead of Vici.
And now, all they need to do is hold their lane assignments and they're naturally going to win. So Vici Gaming, they're coming into desperation mode almost at this point where something has got to give. But if they commit to one side of the map or the other, A, they may not even win, even with a numbers advantage, depending on the members that show up, and B, they're going to lose so much in return.
Look, it already felt like they were going into desperation mode from Champion Select. Throwing out all these flex picks, with Camille being the final pickup, Trundle going to the bottom lane, and before that, bringing in 3 substitutes for Game 2.
It might not necessarily be desperation. There's a couple different ways to look at this. Effectively, a lot of Vici's roster are playing for pink slips. There's this mentality, although hold on, we'll shelf this conversation as a TP's going through.
Big teleport into the bottom lane. JackeyLove says, you know what, at least try and take one of you down with me. Rocket jumps back here, Snow in some trouble, almost gets it there. But they will lose their 80 carry.
So, Vici Gaming playing for pink slips. These guys are playing not necessarily because they have dreams of making the playoffs. Of course, that would be nice. But they want to play again. With a bottom of the roster or the bottom of the table roster, when they're just kind of scraping the barrel, they need to put up a good show so that if Vici continue to invest in these teams and they continue to climb the ladder, or even if they want to find different teams down the road, they need to at least look impressive to create the reputation, to create the name for themselves.
And a playoff run for Vici at the moment would be a miracle. We're only week 6 into the LPL, or week 7 I should say. Shy almost gets locked down there. Trying to steal away Raptor Camp from Vici Gaming. They take a lot of objectives before that teleport came in from Vici. All the outer turrets have been taken down. An Elemental Dragon still stands, a Rift Herald still stands, but they can slowly make their way towards whatever objective on the map they kind of want to take. 7,000 gold up over Vici.
Nice thing is itemization is complete for Snow. He rushed the Static Shiv, whereas JackeyLove rushed the Infinity Edge. So JackeyLove's got the combat advantage there by having the crit available, whereas Snow is prioritizing the wave clear, and that makes a lot of sense. At this point in the game, you're in a pretty sizable hole, 32-26, and you just need to clear out waves, sit by your towers, and try to farm and scale up into late game, because their comp will still do a lot of damage, but they gotta survive.
Shy being very aggressive in the top lane, but Swift was waiting for him inside of the brush, still getting as much damage as he can on top of Meow. Slams back one more time, not going to be enough. Almost takes Meow down with him, but it will be Swift that gets the kill.
And finally, Meow gets a ray of sunshine there. It's not going to transition into much more because IG have so much immense pressure on the bottom side of the map with the Tristana.
He's already expended 3 of his 9 lives, so 6 more to go for Meow in the top lane. That time was not one of them. IG's still going to push through. This turret's going to take some damage, but they're slowly grouping up to defend it.
Yep, again, that's why Vici couldn't commit towards the top side of the tower. If Invictus Gaming had seen that many resources, although I guess it doesn't matter, they're going to take it anyway, so...
Just taking it for free.
Might as well. Swift's like, I'm here. It's next.
He's trying to take down that top lane turret. Vici don't have too many ways to initiate fights here. They've got a Vladimir who's going to try and jump into the back lines with an Olaf.
It's the pillar. So you have so much rundown potential with Camille, her ability to make really long-range picks, as well as Olaf and Vladimir just running at you either through Proto Belt or by popping Olaf's ultimate. If you place a Triller behind
Oh,
no!
He gets the prediction and Shockwave is good. Rookie gets the kill. Jackalove's already leapfrogging into the back lines. Fire Rain is going to fall shortly after. Ning gets another one. Jackalove picks up that kill. They've lost their front line. Vici are trying to collapse. Baolan's now the one tanking up the damage. Caveman's being forced out of fight, still trying to provide support over the walls. Meow's trying to run away from this one. Takes quite a bit of damage, gets back to the safety of the base, but big engage coming out from Ning.
Ah, that was just dirty. That hurts. I'm upset for Snow.
I mean, he knows it's snowing, but that was ice cold coming out from Sejuani, locking him down, freezing him. IG are going to push through mid lane in the turret, move towards the inhibitor as well. That falls. Big team fight from IG.
Yeah, and big momentum shift now. Not shift, but tempo peak. I don't know. I give up. That was disgusting. I'm still so tilted about that. As an 80 carry player myself, like that just feels bad. The flash, the predict, nails him. It's a huge, clean team fight for Invictus Gaming, and it allows them not just to crack the outer mid tower, but to crack all the way to the inhib line.
Ning decides he was going to tank both turrets after the initiation as well, so he falls pretty quickly. IG still get a massive lead off the back of that. Base has now been broken against Vici, and we're just 20 minutes into the game.
And the raw stats that are available, like that gold lead is already massive, what, like 8K in favor of Invictus Gaming, but the raw stats from their itemization is worth so much more. They are huge at this point. Warmog's completed for Sejuani already, Morella's and Luden's on Orianna.
Still just waiting for Jackalove to pick up his second Zeal item. Has the components available for himself, still on that Infinity Edge and Static Shiv. But Snow is not close to his Infinity Edge just yet, still needs about 1,300 gold.
It means that Vici Gaming are locked to the very front of their base. They're on a very short leash, and unless they group up and clear out this warding together, and it's hard for them to face check. I mean, their only option really is an axe from Swift or the Trundle Pillar coming out of Caveman.
They had the assistance of 2 turrets in that last team fight as well. And despite all of that, the initiation from IG was just too good. They were able to win that team fight. Now Vici trying to defend their top lane in a turret. Caveman already chunked down to half health just by Rookie alone. Shockwave being used nice and early. Ning combos that. Jackalove bounces into the front line as well, getting the first kill for his team. That turret should fall shortly after.
And the thing is now we're starting to see what Invictus Gaming's true form really looks like.
They're trying to end the game. Teleport came into the mid lane. Big ultimate comes out for Fire, and he's dashing to the back lines. The Shy's going to fall off the back of the Hemo play. Jackalove's trying to kite this one through on the back lines. Jumps forward on top of Snow, making it rain. Gets another one. Goes towards Swift. Swift's able to flash away, but that's all she wrote because he's the only man left alive.
And they've got a wave incoming behind them. We'll see if they try to go for the end. The banner of command has been popped. That signals to me that they want to continue to press forward.
Oh, look at that minion go. We've got the Cogmore minion just slowly battering down these turrets. Jackylove's going to make short work of them as well. Respawn timers are a little bit long. Caveman is going to come back up. He's online, but Vici, there's no way for them to hold on to their base. IG were a little bit messy in game number 1. Game 2, much more clinical from them. They close it out nice and easy quite early into the matchup as well, 22 minutes in, even taking their time with the Nexus, but they will pick up game number 2, defeat Vici 2-0.
As I was saying, before they decided to turn it on and end the game at 22 minutes, this is the form of Invictus Gaming. It looked a little bit suspect in game number 1. You know, they were trying some champions, some style of play and compositions that they don't normally run. This is much more IG style, you know, putting the Shy on something that is truly a carry potential like that Jace, following up with signature picks like Rookie's Orianna, and you can see the night and day difference against the exact same team.
IG also showing to the rest of the LPL that they can still swap out their playstyle. We've seen a very similar playstyle for them where the Shy has been a facilitator in the top lane, but revolving around their laning phase. And we haven't seen too much of the Shy in recent weeks, now showing that he can still be that role player in the team. He can still also be a carry player for the team as well. and making sure that they're just not a one-trick pony when it comes to the LPL.
And that's such a potent scene right there. So Invictus Gaming leaving, and it's 4 in the back, and they're laughing, they're smiling, and they're throwing their arms around themselves, and it's Rookie in the front. And Rookie, doesn't look displeased, doesn't look upset, but is quite neutral. And the thing is Rookie feels so much immense pressure on his shoulders. This guy practices, between 10 and 12 hours a day. He is incredibly dedicated to being the best possible player that he can be. He has consistently been that in the LPL, the #1 mid laner from this region, and hasn't gotten to see the international stage since 2015.
IG will definitely be trying to make a case for themselves in the LPL. They continue their dominance, now 11-1, far ahead of everyone else in the current standings.
Yeah, but are they far ahead of everyone else in terms of current skill?
Ooh.
They've got some strong matchups. This was the easiest match they were going to have all year, and after this, they will leave cross-conference and back into their domestic conference across from the likes of Rogue Warriors, of Royal Never Give Up, and of the middle-of-the-pack teams JD and Suning. So things are about to heat up and get much harder. IG don't have the time to cool off.
But those are the first 2 names that we really look towards IG as their next big test. Because yes, RNG picked up the win against IG in the opening match of the LPL. Now IG has such a dominant run, but on top of that, Rogue Warriors have found their recent form as well. So moving into those 2 games is going to be difficult for IG, or potentially will be their make or break moving into playoffs.
Yeah, and we've already kind of talked about how Invictus Gaming's victory over EDG was kind of their cementing that they truly are the dark horse of the LPL. But I agree, with RNG now pretty much thrashing EDG in their series victory yesterday, that it's become, RNG, IG is the new top houses of the LPL, with Rogue Warriors as kind of that dark horse.
And because they're in the same conference, we'll get to see them play again. But for now, to break down that last series, let's send it back to the analyst desk.
Thank you, Fish. And obviously we saw Invictus Gaming bouncing back in that second game. A little over 22 minutes on the clock for them to wipe out Vici Gaming. And we were talking about some of these new players coming in, but it wasn't enough. It was a different team, essentially, that we saw hit the rift here for Vici, and Invictus Gaming walked all over them.
Yep, it wasn't, I would say what really sucked was the fact that not only did they come in up against Stars, Fire Rain going up against Rookie, but he also had a bad matchup. I mean, Vladimir versus Orianna, you can really see him getting bullied around. Almost got the ulti if you're Orianna, just about to kill him, solo kill. It was possible, so it felt like Fire Rain was making constant trips back to base just because he was having it rough.
Yeah, however, one of the questions we had for the team was, is the synergy going to be there? Is this just on the day the guys are here, let's throw them out into the field and see how it works out? Well, we saw in the bottom lane that actually it was pretty good from them. There was synergy there with Caveman and his partner. There actually was stuff going on. However, it just unfortunately wasn't enough when you're playing against the best team in the league.
Yeah, and honestly, I would say props to Caveman and Snow. Snow, we've kind of hit on the fact that he was previous playing on I would say WE's secondary team, Mighty Eagle, 17-year-old kid. We'll probably be seeing a lot more of him as he grows, because in his laning phase, that was pretty slick. And he was going up against Jackie Love, who was constantly looking for opportunities to jump into him. And it felt like there were a few moments where he was able to fight back.
But we do have to break down how Invictus Gaming took this game so handily, and it really did start off in the top lane as well, and just taking a look at really the vision that came out from Invictus Gaming.
Yep, there were about 4 wards that honestly won Invictus Gaming the game. 2 control wards topside river that masked wherever Sejuani was going to head, and of course the 1 ward on the top side in the lane bush that hid, or at least it showcased that where Olaf really was. So it allowed Sejuani to go for a lane ganks 2 games in a row where Ning was using Fog of War where to push the Shy in, for him to hide in towards the bush and to get those lane ganks, which was really needed because it felt like the 2v1 ganks constantly coming from the side of Swift to be able to upset the Shy. After the first gank that came in about pre-6 minutes, he was able to come back just based off of Ning's pressure.
Exactly, and then that was the first domino that fell, and it meant that the rest of the dominoes fell in quick succession. They were able to translate that pressure from top lane into the rest of the map, and specifically the bot lane.
Yeah, because the 1 ward we were talking about is the fact that they were able to place the wards down on the bottom side of the map. 1 good trade coming out of Vici Gaming. This was a little earlier on because much later on, there was a proper ward being placed in the bottom side bush just to allow a TP pressure from Jace, which is phenomenal to see because ultimately you get to see him kind of have that pressure on the map.
Yeah, in this one, however, Jackie got absolutely wrecked by Swift's Olaf again. But we do have to compliment Swift on his play this series. Even though he had basically 2 different teams he was playing with, he still performed exceptionally well, even when he wasn't just gifted an early game in the second game.
Exactly. So he's still coming out and fighting for the team. Even if they swap 3 players, he's still the main focal point, which means that even Vici Gaming, they've been solely surrounding EasyHoon as the core of their lineup. They could actually make that transition towards Swift. The stronger he gets, the more vocal he is on the team.
And for all the flubs that we saw in that first game coming out from individual members of Invictus Gaming, I feel like it was all made up for in the second game, specifically by Ning as well, coming into the mid lane with that sick prediction on the Sejuani ultimate.
Oh, you gotta love it. You really do. Because the first prediction in game 1 with Gragas didn't pan out too well, so he goes to game 2, recognize that Snow has to get out of that scenario. Even if it misses, he's in a bad situation with a slow from Sejuani right behind him. So that was really slick to see that coming for him. Of course, getting man of the match here.
Yeah, he'll take it off the back of that play and his performance in the second game. To be honest, he was probably just thinking an hour into the future. You know, he was just like, I'm from the future. You know, when did this happen? Oh, it wasn't in the first game. It was in the second game that they actually go for the flash. So he was just thinking of portals. He was too far ahead of the game.
Yeah, chrono break, right back in towards it like this time around. I'll get you. But once again, even though that was a slick play, beautiful to see, I would say a lot of the reason why Invictus Gaming are so strong, you throw in 3 people from Vici Gaming and you won't get near as good as the communication that Invictus Gaming has. Where that one ward in the top side of the map, or at least the multiple control wards in the topside river, allowed him to be able to contest constantly Meow on the top side of the map. So even though Meow was trying to clear a control ward so he can finally have some form of vision if he's getting ganked or not, immediately gets jumped on by Sejuani. Oriana's also moving up topside because if it turns bad, if Olaf is there, well, guess what? It doesn't matter because it's a 3v2. So they constantly collapse on these plays. So good calls from the team as a whole to allow, I would say, those picks to come to fruition.
But that was also the strength and is the strength of Invictus Gaming, the fact that they have so many ways to play with their team. It's just like, well, that didn't work out through the mid lane or bot lane. That's fine. We'll pick a Jace. We'll give it over to the Shy in this game. We won't just stick him on a Gnar for the second time around. And suddenly you're essentially playing against an entirely different team with different win conditions and different power points.
Yeah, because they change, I would say, different power points for their teams. A lot of them strong players, but they also just literally create new, I'd say, objectives on the map. A lot of teams are like, there's no dragons that are proper, Rift Trail's being taken, or at least it's going to take some time for the Baron to come up. I guess we're going to be looking around these turrets. They have so much focus towards the vision control that they set up that this is probably the second, third game in a row that we saw them just get pure picks because they were focusing on controlling and keeping their control wards up. It happens time and time again. It happened when they went up against OMG, so you have to really, really kind of trust how you play these fights. If you're Vici Gaming going back in that scenario, you're like, all right, maybe Swift will kind of help him out taking that control wards, just so he doesn't die immediately.
Raz, I have one last question for
What's
you.
up?
It feels like what we've done in the segment is just like, oh, Invictus Gaming is so good. There's so many things that they can do. How do you beat Invictus Gaming? If you had one way, if you had the secret weapon to defeat Invictus Gaming, where would you start, Raz?
I would start in the jungle position. I would say start with, I think this is what Swift did well too. He got himself a really strong skirmishing jungler, and he was constantly looking to pressure top side of the map because you have a Jace there. I would like to see a little bit more of the pressure from mid lane, so I'd love for them to challenge early laning phase so they have proper pushing mid lane and a challenge on the top side of the map. Doesn't have to be a pushing top side, could be a Camille, and you can just set up ganks there and send your 3-man roster up there. That'd be great, and I think that Royal Never Give Up has that kind of style, so I'd love to see that matchup.
Well, hey, that's the potential. So far, they have been the only kryptonite for Invictus Gaming as they are currently on an 11-series winning streak. We'll see if they can do it when we get back into their own conference, but for now, we are going to take a quick break before we get to our second series of the night.